Hi, good morning. So today I'll be ta- taking you on Blender. It's a 3D animation software. So Blender is a free open source 3D computer graphics toolset. It's easy to create animated films, visual effects, 3D printed models, interactive applications, and video games. When you create any file under Blender, it usually comes with the file name Blend. So Blender is 21 years this year, and it was first created in 1994 by Dutch animation studio called Neogen. They used it to create their in-house applications and a few other things. In 1998, the Neogen had gone bankrupt, had gone somewhat bankrupt, so they had to move out into another company, and then they eventually released it online as a SGI software. Eventually, in 2002, the second company that they created to continue working with Blender got bankrupt too. So they had to create a non-profit foundation in which other people they left it open source so that every other person could help contribute to fixing their animation software. And today now Blender is one of the most it's not easy to use. It's somehow okay, but it's free, it's open source, and it has a very large community because of how it was eventually created. Now there's this model you always find in almost all Blender applications you find now. It's called Suzanne. It was created as an alternative which people could use to test their features. Like you want to check if the slow feature works properly and just use her to create it. This is the model head. It's more of a monkey's head, but it's a she. And the largest award they give in Blender today is called the Suzanne Award. Blender comes with four different rendering engines. The Blender render, that's the internal rendering engine. It's not so realistic when you render with it. The second one is the cycles render. This one looks more realistic and they usually use it for games creation and what others. Then the query render, it's more realistic, but it can't be used for games because it's too high level for them. So now they're creating a new one, the Easy Virtual Environment Engine that will help it to be more easier to create with games and all the other animation they're trying to work with. A Blender has so many features. It has its internal engine and its creator keyframe animation tools, simulation tools for soft body like smoke fluids, soft cloths, and all that. Then a particle system, like if I want to make grass, instead of me having to create grass individually, I can just make one. I use this particle system to spread it out so that I have the whole floor filled with grass. Then the modifiers, like if I want to create something that is not so destructive, like I want to put some boxes on the floor and make them stay together, I have to put a modifier so that they have a gravity effect with them so they don't scatter at the slightest thing. Then it also works with Python scripting so that you can create animations and a few other things. It's mostly used for games and importing of things. Then we have the basic non-linear video and audio editing. It helps especially when they are doing animation of games, a few other things. The real-time control physics simulation. Like if I want to create something, I'll show you that later. A wrecking ball, I say scattering something. If you just have it at any weight, it won't work properly. Maybe the wrecking ball will be too light or it will be too heavy. So real-time control allows you to be able to make it a way that is more feasible in real life. Then it has cameras and object tracking, which allows you to select which object you want your camera to follow at every point. Degree pencil that helps with 2D animation and 3D animation, and there are a whole lot more. You can even have Blender doing something like this. You just it's not running. Like they created Intel based from the very beginning to the end, just using Blender. And this one was mostly working with modifiers and internal render because it's not so photorealistic. So you can use Blender to create from whole scenes to just something as small as maybe a cup and a plate together. So they use this to create the scene. And you can also change it from night to day or from whichever setting of time you want. Blender has some open projects that is constantly running, like Agent 327. This was just a teaser trailer for a movie that you want to create. It's going to be a large movie, but there's just a trailer for it. Then the calendar is this. It's this llama that is always going about trying to eat stuff and getting into trouble. Then Elephant's Dream. This was the first movie project they had. Water videos. It was very successful and transferable project. The game was called Yo Frankie, and they usually name Peach, Durian, and Banana. In the media industry, we had them use it in several movies that some of us have been seeing. In NASA, they used it to create a 3D interactive web application for us to see what their something, I can't remember what they call it. It was called Curiosity. It was used to move across Mars, so they used it for us to see how it went. Then Spider-Man 2, they used it mostly for the animations that create visuals. In Friday, on another day, that was the first movie that really used it for all the special effects. Then Captain America, Winter Soldier, most of the visual effects was mostly done by Blender. Then we have that movie Lights Out. A lot of shots from the movie were done with Blender. The same thing with Annabelle Creation, Wonder Woman, and Warcraft, which the character Moko was mostly created by Blender. Yeah, just want to show you some. Okay, so in Blender now, this is a scene. It's mostly okay. So here we have this scene of a cup getting filled by water. This I made a mistake when I was creating this, so it's not going to play, but you can see it in few. This is it in solid mode after it's been created, so you can have it in material mode so you get what it will do. Okay, that's that. Um, let's just render it so you can see what it really looks like after the work. this is not looking so good. No, it's not downrange, but the background picture is gone, so it looks that it's not going to come out soon. Okay, so you can look at it from different angles. The lighting from this one now is coming from that board behind, so it's going to look dark from some angles. But if I put a light above it, you will see from almost every angle. Thank you very much.